What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the recently unvaulted pump shotgun and comparing it to the iron pump and letting you guys know which pump shotgun is best right now in Fortnite Chapter 7. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, comment down below which of these shotguns you prefer, and if you guys would like to use my code in the shop when getting anything, it is EvolveJake, just like my channel name is, and it is underneath the webcam at all times. So recently, Fortnite brought back the regular pump shotgun, but it is only in purple and gold rarity, which is going to matter later on. Fortnite also did buff both of these shotguns, they buffed the shotgun in both rarities. The purple's max damage is now 195, and the gold's max damage is 205. And these numbers are up from 180 and 185. So a pretty significant difference in terms of the max damage these shotguns are going to do, which is really important when comparing it to the iron pump, because this basically matches the iron pump shotgun, with the purple iron pump having a max damage of 195, so they're completely equal, and then the gold having a max damage of 202. So the gold iron pump is 3 less max damage than the regular pump. However, the mythic iron pump does have an even greater max damage at 210. So the purples are equal. The golds are, slightly favored towards the regular pump, but it's not enough damage to really make a difference. And then there is no mythic regular pump, so the mythic iron obviously stands ahead there. While the max damages are the same, the regular pump actually does have a higher base body damage. The purple pump has a body damage of 119, while the iron pump has a max damage of 106, or sorry, not max, it has a body damage of 106 at purple, so that's 113 more damage for the regular pump. And then the gold regular pump has a body damage of 128, and the iron has a body damage of 111. So in both instances, the regular pump has a better body damage than the iron. And then the max damages, so the max headshot damage, is kind of equal between. And you might be like confused on why this matters. If they have the same max damage, why would the regular pump have higher base damage? The way shotguns do damage is you get damage for every pellet you hit, right? And if the pellet hits a body, you get a certain amount of damage out of that pellet. If the pellet hits a head, you get a certain amount of damage from that pellet. Like the headshot multiplier is applied to each pellet individually. So if you're hitting a perfect headshot, it won't really matter which one you're using. They're going to do basically the same damage. But if you have a shot where like some pellets hit to the head, some pellets hit to the body, and maybe some pellets miss, which is something that will happen fairly frequently, then in those instances, the regular pump is going to be doing more damage because it has that higher body damage. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah. The headshot multiplier is applied per pellet, and that's why shotguns in Fortnite have such inconsistent damage, because you get damage based on how many pellets you hit, and then even furthermore, you get the headshot multiplier to each individual pellet, rather than just like, oh, you hit the head, now every pellet gets a headshot multiplier. This is why a lot of people complain like, oh, I hit the head, but I only got 30 damage. That's because you barely hit any pellets at all, and the ones you happen to hit did hit the head. So to maximize your damage, you want to hit as many pellets as possible, and ideally you want to be hitting as many pellets to the head. So damage-wise, they're kind of equal, but also kind of favored towards the pump. One advantage the iron pump does have, which I think is going to be pretty significant, is going to be its range and its aimed in accuracy. So the range of the iron pump is a lot better than the regular. And this might not always be something that you're going to be taking advantage of. Like, I'm not going to play any differently with either of these shotguns, So if you're very close to the enemy, this won't be a factor. But a lot of times in Fortnite, you're not quite right on the enemy. It can be kind of weird, especially if you're playing around cover with these shotguns, or you're playing around mobility with these shotguns. You sometimes end up in situations where it's still shotgun range, but the range of the shotgun does matter. And in those situations, the iron pump is going to be doing better, because the regular pump might have already started to get some sort of damage fall off. You're going to notice this a lot with shockwaves, I think. If you're about to shotgun somebody and then they shockwave away, but you're able to shoot them before they're like really out of shotgun range, in those situations, the iron pump is going to be better, I think. Also, a lot of times when you're playing cover, the range of things can really matter. And another time where, playing cover is going to be advantageous for the iron pump is going to be that, in my opinion, the pellet spread feels a lot tighter to me with the iron pump than it does the regular. And this gets very noticeable when you aim in. It feels like the aimed in accuracy bonus of the iron pump is a lot better than that of the regular pump. And this is, again, something that you're not going to always be taking advantage of. You're not always going to be using. If you're right up in the opponent's face, you don't really want to be aiming. But if you're playing behind a tree or a rock or something and you get the opportunity to kind of peek out and aim a bit to tighten that pellet spread and hopefully hit more pellets, then those are going to be situations where like the tighter pellet spread of the iron pump is really advantageous. Again, this is going to come into a play a lot with mobility, because if I'm shockwaving onto somebody, I can shoot sooner with the iron pump. And hitting an aimed in shot benefits me a lot. Same with when the enemy's trying to shockwave away. Those moments and fights around cover, I think the iron pump is going to be favored because of its better range and because of its better accuracy when aimed in, which is going to kind of attribute to more damage. Because if you're hitting more pellets because your crosshair is tighter, then you're probably going to be doing more damage. And if your gun hasn't started to drop off in damage because of range yet, you're also going to be doing more damage that way. So it's kind of weird to compare the damages of these weapons, because in some ways they're the same. In some ways one weapon has an advantage, and in some ways another has an advantage. Like the regular pump has the better body damage, but the iron pump has better accuracy and better range, which could result in you doing more damage depending on the fight, especially in like a variety of situations. I think the iron pump is going to be better. If you're just straight up in someone's face, sure, the regular might be best then. Another thing to really consider is going to be the handling stats. So the pullout time of the regular pump was increased by 5%. It feels better, but this isn't the biggest game changer. And I don't know the exact pullout times of these weapons off the top of my head, but it doesn't really feel like one is like significantly better or worse than the other. They feel about the same. But when you're using a pump shotgun, you're often going to be swapping back and forth between it and a spray weapon. You're going to shoot your pump, you're going to swap to a spray weapon, and then if you need another shot to finish, you're going to swap back to the pump. And in some fights where you might be getting scuff damage or not really hitting many shots, you might do this several times over the course of the fight, right? And during this type of situation, the pullout time is going to matter a lot because you're swapping back and forth, and so does the fire rate. The regular pump has a fire rate of 0.7, while the iron pump has a fire rate of 0.8. So you're going to be able to shoot the iron pump slightly sooner after shooting it than you would the regular one. So you can swap back to it sooner, basically. The difference isn't that significant, and it's unlikely that you have absolutely perfect timing with this. The iron pump is going to be able to shoot sooner, but unless you're absolutely perfect, it's not going to matter. I think this decreases the chances of messing it up, at least, which is an advantage for the iron pump, because in those types of situations, it can be a bit difficult to be absolutely perfect. So like I said, I don't think most people are going to be perfect anyways, but there's less of a chance to mess this up with the iron pump because it's going to be able to shoot a bit faster. Because of this playstyle being integral to pumps, though, having good timing and good muscle memory matters a lot. And for that reason, that is why I still think it's best to use the iron pump, and why I would prefer to use the iron pump. Because like I talked about earlier in the video, Fortnite only brought back the purple and gold rarity of the regular pump. And it doesn't feel like it has like that high of a spawn rate. I don't think you can buy it from... Actually, you can buy it from vending machines. I didn't see it in vending machines very frequently. And because of this, I feel like in most matches, you're probably going to have the iron pump. And if you have the iron pump more often and you're using it more frequently, you're probably going to have a better muscle memory with it kind of swapping back and forth. You're going to have a better feel for that. And since it's more common and they're very similar in damage, like they both have different advantages and disadvantages over each other, but I don't think either of those differences are really like cut and dry definitive answer. Because they're so close, I would rather just use the one that I'm going to have more often, just so I have a better muscle memory and I have better timing with it. So just because of the availability, I think the iron pump is going to be better. I also do kind of prefer the range of it now that I've been using it more. Like I have a better feel for its range as well. So I think for me, having better muscle memory and better feel for the iron pump makes it the better choice because they were so close on damage anyways. But that is going to be it for this video. As always, if you guys did enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.